Welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be going over my trade where I made over $2,500 and ended the day with $3,000. And we will be going over every single trade, and I'll be giving you guys some insights, how you guys can be able to take these trades and what was going through my head, all the psychology. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first trade we took was on Bitcoin, and I'll be leaving here on the screen all the results that happened. It was a 3-day hold. So the trade was taken on Friday and it was closed today. So if we come here to the chart, if we come to the daily, right? We're looking at Bitcoin over here. Let's take this out real quick. So we have the full chart. So we know that there was news about Bitcoin once the ETF was approved by the GBTC. Once I knew that was about to come, everyone knew there was a move supposed to happen. Many people thought it was going to go up, but as you guys know, it says sell the news, and when news comes out, right? So when I knew that, I knew it was gonna maybe push up a little, but I was looking to sell. So these channels that I have are the same channels that I've been talking on my other videos. So if you want to know about these channels that I use, these channels are really helpful to me, and it helped me be able to catch the trade that I'm about to show you guys. So the Bitcoin ETF was announced around here on the 10th, on the 11th, and we saw a run. We saw a run and it went to 49,000. After it reached 49,000, we were able to see that it started to drop. We could see this a major wick off on the daily chart, and on the following day followed by a really big bearish candle. And throughout these days, throughout the week after that, we could see a little bit of consolidation. So what I did to prepare myself for this trade, I just wanted to make sure of the trend. So here we can see that the market was making higher highs and higher lows. If we go to the 1 hour chart, it'll be a little more clear. So now that we are here, let's get the arrow. We can see the higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, a higher high, higher low, and a higher high, higher low. And something that was supporting that was this trend line I had drawn out. Once it broke this trend line, this major trend line, is when I decided to start selling. Obviously, this was a late move, but we were still able to catch a great move nonetheless. So we can see here that this daily candle over here tried to wick off and close over the trend line, but it fell too. And the following days just kept pushing under the trend line. And then we see the following 2 days came to retest that same area. Once it came to retest that, we see that followed by 2 bearish days. And I entered the trade until the 21st. Until Friday the 19th. And I waited out these 2 days, and this is what happened on Monday. So now let's get closer into how is it that everything played out on the lower time frames. So let's go to the 30-minute time frame. So once I saw the break of the trend line, I knew it was a break of trend. So now we could be heading towards a downtrend, right? And I just wanted to make sure. So if we come over here, we'll take out the fib. And if we extend it from a fib, is always from a major push to the bottom of that push, right? So we take that out. And this is what helped me enter the trade. I entered a trade over here at 61.8. I saw it came to reach 61.8. And we started seeing a little drawdown, and then we saw a little bit more drawdown. It tried to go to the 78.6, but it ultimately failed to reach that level, and it just wicked off on the 2 30-minute time frames. So that's when I decided to enter the trade. And I entered the trade on Friday afternoon, so the market was about to close, and obviously not for Bitcoin, but the U.S. markets were about to close, the Forex markets. So we had to wait out the weekend. I wasn't really aware on how Bitcoin moved on the weekends, but it did not move. As we can see here, there was just pure consolidation throughout the weekend. But it was so once we were here, we were just waiting. We were just waiting. Still no stop loss put in place. The trade was still valid, and as we can see here, it came to retest this channel that I had. Again, these channels are precisely put there based on the levels of the history that Bitcoin has touched before, and then I just I follow that same pattern and just I do I clone them. I clone the channels and just keep doing that, and it really helps me, and it helps me set my support and resistance levels. So we could see that it came the midpoint of this channel served as resistance, and this is where we happen to wick off. I enter the trade here, and right here I'll be on the side of the screen. I'll be showing you guys how the trade was going and what was happening. And so, okay, so this was Saturday. Saturday, there wasn't much movement. It was just consolidating. And then Sunday, it was still consolidating. So I went on lower time frames, right? And then this is where, let's go to the 15, because I ended up adding on to this trade. Well, let's go back to the daily. If you guys go back to one of my videos, I have a video of great candlestick patterns that can help you catch trades. And one of them was, if you look at the video, was when there is a big bearish candle, it could be either or a big bearish or a big bullish followed by two opposite of the candles that do not engulf, will always lead to the momentum of the initial candle. And here we can see there was initial bearish push followed by two bullish candles, did not engulf the bearish. So that gave me really confidence. And on top of that, it's on resistance. It gave me confidence to enter another trade. So I entered another trade. I entered a standard. So at that point, I was a standard and almost two standards into the trade. And then I started scaling in smaller time frames, not into the trade, but into my analysis. And this is where I started to draw trend lines. Again, I know it became a little choppy over here, which was on Sunday, but we can see that I came back to the resistance level of 41,800. After that level, it just couldn't break over. And I will show you guys that in my trade, I had entered the trade and I still went in drawdown, and I was to a point where one of my trades were in drawdown, the other one was still in profit because that trade was put right here. And I will mark where I enter the trades. So the first trade was entered there, and the second trade was entered around here. This is an estimate. Obviously, I'm gonna have it on the screen of how everything happened. So once and after that, it was just patience. So my analysis, it's a downtrend, and if we see after the push, it respected the golden level, the 61.8 between 78.6. If it ever broke over the 78.6, I was going to be looking out to get out the trade. Another technical that I had on my chart was trend lines. Trend lines always help me to draw my stop loss, know when to scale in or when to get out. So I believe I had this trend line drawn out, and I also had a bigger one. Yeah, well, obviously also this one. This is what we can see here, the break of trend, and it just began to go down. So once I had this trend line drawn out, that became my stop loss. Once it broke over, it was a nice retest, and then we see more bullish momentum. That would be a great signal for me to get out the trade. But luckily we didn't see that, so we had to stick to our analysis, stick to our trade, and stick to our guts, because Sunday afternoons this started happening, bearish momentum. and price started moving quickly. By the time it was around, I believe, 9 p.m. at my time, and I started seeing retracements. And sometimes when you see those retracements, you want to get out. You think the trade is reversing on you, because there's many reasons as you can sell, you can find many reasons to buy as well. For example, that's what I do. So once I'm on sell trade, I try to find reasons why to buy, and if I'm able to find many reasons why to buy, then that means I should be exiting the trade. And this was one of them. Right here, we can see that it broke over the 61.8, and there was an engulfing on the 30-minute on this candle, and it started to push over. So right there, we would have to see, okay, is it going to a it's an engulfing, so it's a bullish move. Many traders enter trades just based off of that candlestick pattern. But I just had to stick to my analysis. There still wasn't a lot of reason why to get out the trade, so I just started trailing it, and I started making smaller trend lines just in case if there were to be momentum. Like here, this is a trend line. If it were to break over here, a retest, and start going bullish, I would get out the trade. Luckily, I had room to still be in profit, so that's what helped me. And we just kept seeing this. Right here, I was up around, I believe, 1,300. No, sorry, right here, this is where I ended up closing, but we'll get to that. So here I was up like 1,500 right here, and then I went back to around 800. And then once around here, I was asleep. It was at 2 a.m. We can see here, 3 a.m. And we can see that there was support there, right there, and we can see that it decided not to break. It took a while for it to break. Something that's been helping me too as well is waiting for every 4-hour candle to see how it closes, because at least Bitcoin is sometimes moves. It's really volatile. So once I saw this break, well, during this time is when I was asleep. Once I saw this break, it gave me really a lot of confidence to keep holding the trade. So I was holding. Then I saw this, and there was too much. There wasn't a clear path, because right here we could see another engulfing, and a double bottom, and obviously major support here as well. If we extend it, we will see that there was support on the way back then. So that's where I ultimately decided to exit the trade. My TP and what was at 39,300 around there. And that's where psychology comes in, right? If I would have held my trade a little longer, trusted my analysis, it would have eventually gone to hit my TP or really close to there, and I would for sure close out there. But it's just lessons we learn. But at the end of the day, I'm happy I was able to catch this trade. And yeah, I mean that was basically how the trade went down. If we come over to the 4-hour, this is where I was looking on when to get out. I was looking at the close of every 4-hour candle, and here we can see there's a wick, and it wicked off, and it wicked off again. So there's 3 wick offs, and usually when that happens, we can see here it reverses, and 2 wick offs it reversed. So right here, this was the 3rd time. It happened the 3rd time, and I was like, maybe it's a really it's a great opportunity for me to get out. Eventually, I knew it was gonna come to this level, but I just didn't think it would be today. Eventually, it went really close to it today. But as we can see, that 8 a.m. that 4-hour candle came in strong, and it just didn't look back, and it broke through both supports. I'm sorry, and it even came to retest, and it kept going down. But yeah, that was a trade where we made 2,500 around there, and it was great. If you guys have any questions about that or any comments, or maybe you guys saw something else that I didn't see, or maybe you guys were in this trade too, like just had different analysis, leave them down in the comments, and it'll be really interesting to hear what your guys' analysis was, or what do you guys think. My overall thought on Bitcoin is bullish, obviously. I'm always going to be bullish on Bitcoin. And my TP was 39 because of my channels. So if you guys really are interested on learning how I do my channels, just leave it down in the comments, and I can make an in-depth video about it. The second trade of the day, let's go to US 30. Was on US 30. This was after I closed the trade, and it was on this was a scalping trade. It was on the 5-minute time frame. And it was based off a trend line. Yeah, this is the one I had. And I know it could be difficult to know when and where to draw trend lines. The best place is to, once you see a clear point on the chart, that's a great place to start to add a trend line. As here, we can see it here, we can see it here, we can see it here. And then this is where ultimately I enter the trade. And I think I took a screenshot or screen recording, but this is where I enter the trade. So overall, this is what I was seeing as well. On US 30, we know it just broke all-time highs. It was on the daily. It was where. So during that time, this daily candle was over here. So if it were to, at the price it was at my entry point, it was at a wick off. So I was like, there's still a few, like 8 hours. No, I'm sorry, like 6 hours left to the trading hours, and it's already at a wick off, or as some may know as a shooting star candle. I just didn't think it would be able to end as a bearish candle. So it was either going to end as a wick off, or we can see like this, and that's why I decided to enter the trade. That was part of my analysis, and then also this trend line. So I use this trend line as a support. I came in touch because the most best trend lines is always when there's 3 touches or more, right? So here where there's 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches, and then this was a 4th touch, and obviously trading is always a risk. So I took the risk here, and I ended up capitalizing with 50 pips on US 30. Eventually retraced and it went higher, but 50 pips was okay with me. And that's where I exited that trade. Obviously, if this trade would have gone the other way, it could have broke here. It could have broke under here. Obviously, I would wait for a retest, and if it starts going towards the down direction, the bearish direction, that's where I would have exited the trade. But luckily, it didn't do it. And this was a really great scalp trade. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions or comments or anything you guys would like me to go over, just leave them down in the comments, and I will gladly go over them. But if this video was helpful for you guys, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And I wish nothing but the best for you guys, and see you guys on the next one.